Hello and welcome to another video, and I totally had a complete other rant video ready to go to put out regarding the PS5 Pro, because I've had that system for almost a year now. I felt like it would be time to finally put my 2 cents in on why it's not worth getting a PS5 Professional Edition. And then Microsoft decided to just, pull the rug today out from everyone, and I have zero words for how just awful this entire thing is, but we're gonna get into it. There's nothing good to say about this. So here we go. This happened early this morning. Literally, it is something I've been predicting on this channel for months now. We've talked about it ad nauseum on the podcast that Game Pass is gonna have a price hike. It's coming soon. And I did predict it could go up as high as $10. I didn't think they'd actually do this, but they did. So as of October 1st, the Game Pass is going up. The Ultimate tier is increasing to $30 a month. $30 a month. So go ahead and take your sigh, breathe it in for a second. We're going to go over things, and then I'm obviously going to rant on it because it's horseshit. But, so let's take a step back. In July of 2024, Microsoft raised the price of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate from $16.99 to $19.99 a month in the US, with a similar price increase occurring in all other markets. At the same time, it introduced a new standard tier in the original Game Pass Ultimate price point that lacks day one game access. Yet I will put a point in here and say that even though they still advertise play it day one on Game Pass, they need to update that. Now, just 14 months later, Microsoft has once again hiked the price of Ultimate, which jumps from $19.99 a month to $29.99 a month. That's an increase of 50% in the United States, or an extra $120 per year. Microsoft is justifying this price hike by adding various new features to Game Pass and some big new games, including Warner Brothers' blockbuster Hogwarts Legacy. Congrats, guys! You're adding a 2-year-old game to your service that I've already played. But please spend $10 more. So obviously they have this little graphic here. It tells you and breaks down exactly what it's going to have. Look at one of these things. And I want to point this out because I do find this absolutely ridiculous. We'll blow this up here. 75. I'm going to blow it up here so we can see it. 75 plus day one games a year is what they're promising now, including all Xbox published games day one. Ubisoft Plus Classics and EA Play included, with Fortnite Crew coming in November. Unlimited cloud gaming at our best quality with the shortest wait times. In-game benefits including for Riot Games, online console multiplayer of course, and play and earn up to 100,000 points a year with the store with rewards. So, their justification today for this, and it's important to note that these other 2 tiers, Essential, which has been renamed from Core, and Premium, are not changing price-wise. They're still going to be the same price. And I realize this pricing now is in European, but that's where they took the screen grab of it. So they're changing the tiers and everything. The Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will be $20.99 a month, up from $19.99 a month. Xbox Game Pass Premium is $15 a month. That is the same as the old standard subscription. Game Pass Essential is $9.99 a month. That is the same as the old Core subscription. And then there is, of course, PC Game Pass. For those that only play on PC, you can buy PC Game Pass, and that has gone up from $11.99 to $16.49 a month. So, of course, that's going up as well. As far as how this affects, so the updated pricing goes into effect today, October 1st, for anybody that's a new subscriber, but it is not implemented until November 4th for current subscribers. We're adding 45 new games to Game Pass, and I will go over some of the highlights of that here in a minute, but I want to point out that none of the games that they're putting on the service are new. So you ask yourself, how is Microsoft justifying the price hike of Ultimate by 50%? By adding more day one games, Ultimate subscribers now get over 75 day one releases a year, Microsoft has said, and throwing in Fortnite Crew and Ubisoft Classics for the first time ever. There are also upgrades to Xbox Cloud gaming streaming quality. Are people going to subscribe to this for this Fortnite Plus thing? Like, Is it still that popular, Fortnite? Like, I've never cared. So obviously this comes at a time where Game Pass is under scrutiny, not just for the value to Microsoft's gaming business, but to the wider video game community. Obviously last month, former Bethesda executive Pete Hines questioned it as a business strategy. July, obviously there were massive layoffs at Microsoft. It's also important to note that yesterday they just announced all this profitability with Game Pass and everything, how much it's improved and everything, and then this is what we're going to do. So that kind of goes over that. Let's go back and just check out here if I can find that link. The 45 games that they added today, because here we go. I'll add this as a new link here. Okay, so Xbox Game Pass October 2025 lineup. There's a ton of games here, but here's my issue with this. Hogwarts Legacy, already played that game. Assassin's Creed 2, literally every Assassin's Creed game that has come out, with the exception, of course, of Shadows, is on this list. Old Far Cry games that you've already fucking played are on this list. That Prince of Persia game that nobody bought last year is on this list. It's all old content that most people either already own or have already played. Then obviously they're going to add these games into Premium, which will also be in Ultimate. Some of these are games that obviously have already been on, but they're also adding old Blizzard games. So again, I'd like to point out this is the full list of games here. You can see it. I'm not going to spend too much time on this list. A lot of it is being added to PC. And again, these are old games that, were had with Blizzard and Activision and stuff. So some of the stuff that they've held over our heads for a while because of this deal is finally coming to you, but it's at a cost that you, the consumer, is going to pay. And that's the important thing that I want to highlight here. It's you as the consumer that is going to pay this. It always has been. I will say in the 8 years that I've done this channel, most of you guys know that watch this channel that I was a major Microsoft fan. I'm somebody who primarily played all of his games on the Xbox since the 360. I weathered the storm through the Xbox One, even though they made some terrible fucking decisions, obviously. Nobody's ever going to forget the 2013 E3 debacle. Nobody's ever going to forget that, right? We got Phil Spencer in here. He turned a lot of things around, but what's the old saying from The Dark Knight? If you either die here or you live long enough to become the villain, well, he became the villain. And all these heads at Microsoft. This is so, unbelievable to do this at this point. Like, you have effectively, in one day, killed your entire brand. And I think that's the fucking point at this juncture. I think that is the point. Microsoft no longer wants to have this gaming division the way that it is. Instead of just coming out and saying, you know what, guys? Times have changed. We're no longer going to produce consoles. Everything's going to be in the cloud. You're either going to play it on your tablet, on your phone, or you'll be able to stream it to your TV through like a Fire Stick or something like that. Instead, they've opted to just nuke this entire business in the last year. Insane increases for price for the system. In the last 6 months, they have increased the price of the base Xbox Series X, a system I own fucking 2 of them. I have one right behind me here. I have one in my living room. Okay? It is now $650 in the United States to purchase an Xbox Series X. And the argument has always been, hey man, if you buy this system, you can just subscribe to Game Pass. You don't really have to buy anything that's first party. Sometimes some good third party games come to this platform, but this is the value. The value is gone. There's no value here anymore. You have people now, Microsoft is expecting the average consumer to pay $150 more in the United States to buy a system that is 5 years old, that has never gone down in price. It's only increased. And on top of it, they're going to increase Game Pass by 50%. You see where the clown show is? Like, it just shows me that they don't fucking care anymore. Why would I ever care? I'll be 100% honest, this entire day, I have actually sat here and thought to myself, boy, maybe I pack up one of these Xboxes and just wipe out my shelf of all my Xbox stuff, take it to my local GameStop, trade this shit in, and just convert it to PlayStation. And just, I already have a PS5, fuck it. Maybe I'll buy another one to put in my office here and then use the rest of that to just buy games for that system and be done with Xbox. And there's a part of me that still might do that. That's how ridiculous this has become. It is apparent that Microsoft, Xbox has not been the best place to play games for a while, but now they are easily the worst place to play games at this point. And this entire debacle today, and you knew that nobody was going to accept it. There's one thing that the gaming community does not like. It is bullshit like this. You cannot spit in a gamer's face and tell them that it's raining. You can't do that. We sniff out bullshit as fast as humanly possible. And that is exactly what they're doing here. They're spitting in the face of every customer that's been with them for, 20, 25 years. They're going to celebrate their 25th anniversary of the Xbox brand next year. How many people are still going to give any kind of fuck next year for that announcement, for that celebration? Why would I fucking care when you want to nickel and dime every single part of this hobby for your general consumer? Why should I give a fuck about that? I don't. You've killed, you can even you want to throw Halo into the conversation? Halo's been dead for years, guys. It died in 2021 when they released Infinite. I tried to be apologetic for a while, but I'm not going to be apologetic for that game anymore. It's not great. It had a decent multiplayer, but the campaign was not good. It was not well received. It was not the Halo game that people wanted it to be. And 343, as a studio, has massively fucked up for years. They are continuously given chance after chance after chance with that franchise. If this was any other company in any other timeline, they would have had one chance. They fucked it up. That company would have said, whoa, you're not going to take our biggest cash cow and fuck it up like this. We're going to give it to somebody else. Instead, they were allowed to literally fuck that franchise into the ground. And it was fucked into the ground so horrible that they had to rename 343 Studios Halo Studios to try and trick those fans into, oh, this is a new studio that's going to make Halo. It's fucking not a new studio. It's the same one that employs the same stupid fucking people that have made the same stupid fucking decisions with Halo for the last 10 plus years. Again, can't spit in my face and tell me that it's raining. So that franchise is dead as fuck. You have Microsoft closing all these other studios. Even just yesterday, we announced that Avalanche is closing after they shuttered that Contraband game that was going to come out. That got axed. Now Avalanche is just going to shut. It's another studio that's shuttering. Remember Perfect Dark? That got fucked into the ground. The quadruple A studio, The Initiative, didn't really exist because they were just going to outsource that all to Crystal Dynamics. That's dead now. No more Perfect Dark for you. I will say right now, I literally would not be surprised if I woke up later this week and I see a news article on the IGN app that says, hey guys, guess what? Fable's been canceled. It's not happening anymore. We looked at it. It just doesn't make sense for our business anymore. Nobody really wants this 15-year-old franchise rebooted by a studio that had nothing to do with it 15 fucking years ago. So we decided to axe it. It wouldn't surprise me, because that is the direction that this company is going in. They do not care about you as a consumer. They don't fucking give a shit. They want to nuke it all and move on. And honestly, for anybody out there that's watching this video, for any single person that is on the fence of what should I do with this? Go sell your Xbox. Do it. Just get off the fence and do it. Go buy a PlayStation. You can play every single game that you want to play on that platform. You can play Microsoft's fucking games on that platform. It's all there because there's no more exclusives, guys. We also killed that. The thing that draws you into a home console is exclusivity. And when you remove that, then that removes any kind of competition. And that was the first domino to fall. Man, I've ranted here. For me, it's like I have been with this company with Microsoft. Like, I've been there since I bought an Xbox, and I've told this story many times. I bought an original Xbox in 2004, fall of 2004, to play Halo 2 and Fable. I did not have an Xbox when it launched. I rented one from Family Video where I lived. I played Halo. I loved Halo. Halo was an amazing experience, but at the time, that wasn't enough for me to go out and buy an Xbox to have one. I had a GameCube and I had a PS2 at the time, but I didn't get an original Xbox until fall of 2004 to play Fable and Halo 2. And then obviously, I made that purchase really late. And the next year, the 360 was coming out, and I jumped in at launch, and I bought a 360 at launch, and I loved it. That entire generation now is looked back on like, I'm going to throw this out there for the wrestling fans. That is like, you know, however many weeks that Eric Bischoff had WCW at the top over WWF at the time. Oops, I said WWF. That's exactly what it's like. It's like that 8 years, Microsoft fired on all cylinders. It was the best place to play. They had the best games. They had the best exclusives. You could not stand in the same room as me and argue that the PlayStation 3 was a better system, and you still can't to this day. It wasn't. That is the only generation that they fired on all cylinders. It was an anomaly. It's never going to be repeated again. And I think a lot of Xbox fans out there need to hear those words right now. That greatness, that level, that echelon that they achieved will never be achieved again. At this point, it's never going to happen. It's a shame. And I'll be honest, like, maybe I'll have an update to this on the podcast, but like, I seriously sit here and I very much consider taking one of these systems and just shoving all these games into that I have physically, that I've collected for years, into a fucking bag, dragging them over to GameStop. I know that a lot of games I'll get pennies on the dollar. I don't really care at this point. It's more about making the statement of, you're going to fuck me, then it's over, you know? And that's how the consumer that's a Microsoft fan should feel right now. This went down so bad that the website to go in and cancel your subscription to Game Pass crashed and is still having issues at the time of me recording this video. That is how well this whole thing has gone down. Now, is it possible that Microsoft may come out and they may say, hey guys, you know what? We've heard you. We're going to lower that back down, and maybe they only increase it to $25 a month. Could they do that? Sure. But the damage is already done. It doesn't matter because the gaming community is not going to forget what they did here. It will not be forgotten. And many of those people are going to be out even at the $25 mark, because now you're reaching that point where there isn't the value there anymore. I'll be 100% honest. I have not played a Game Pass game, even though I am a subscriber. My Game Pass runs out in like 2 weeks here. And I've been a subscriber since day one. But I have not played a single game on Game Pass since May, when Doom: The Dark Ages came out. I have not. I just haven't done it. That was the big question I had to ask myself. Like, what really is on this service that I would play here that I couldn't just pay a couple bucks for over on PlayStation and play there? And that's the thing you got to ask yourself. You have to ask yourself. I saw somebody post this. I thought it was a perfect way to say this today, which is simply, it's more like Xbox $360 a year. And that is the key here. If you want to play on Xbox and you want Ultimate, it is $360 annually. And you can't buy an annual subscription. You have to pay monthly. So ask yourself that question. Do you spend $360 a year on new video games? I don't. I'm talking brand new full price. You know what? I'm bad at math. I'm going to do the math right now because I'm bad at it. If you were to break it down this way, the equivalent to paying for an annual subscription to Game Pass is paying just a little bit over for 5 $70 games a year. It's like 5.1 is the percentage I get, or the point I get there. So a little over 5 games a year. So like 5. We'll just round up and say 5.5 games. So let's say you buy 5 games a year. On top of that, you're going to pay that much to play on Game Pass. I just don't see it, man. And also, like, I'm at the point, like, we've hit this apex of, like, I was all aboard with these subscriptions a decade ago. Like, yeah, that's great. Netflix is great. Hulu is great. All this, until it got fractured into everybody wants to make their own service and everybody's going to charge this price. And, oh, well, you know what, you guys, we're going to put ads in here. But if you don't want the ads, you got to pay a little bit extra for that. And you have some companies that will scummily just put the ads in there and then tell you, well, this is no longer ad free. If you want that, you do have to pay extra for it. You see how fucked up that's already gotten? It went from, like, we have Netflix and Hulu to now we have 8 different streaming services that you can have. There's more than that. I'm just talking about myself personally. And, like, then Game Pass is on top of that. And it's like, you know what was more awesome? Just going out and buying whatever fucking video game you wanted to buy, popping it in your system and playing it. I can't stress enough, I love physical media, and it's never, like, for me, it's never going to die. I bought more 4K Blu-rays in the last year and a half than I have in the last decade, because I've come to that realization of, like, some movies I just want to own, and I don't want to have to try and find, well, what service is it on, and that, and this and that. Game Pass. Like, the experiment failed. Like, that's the easiest way I can say it. Is, like, you know, Phil Spencer might have had a vision 6 years ago. That experiment has failed now. And, you know, I can't justify it. And I think a lot of people just at that price point can't justify it. And you have to ask yourself at that point, then, if you can't justify the price of Game Pass, then what are you even doing on this platform? What is this platform for? And I'll further by saying, like, not only have I not played a Game Pass game since May, I haven't played, like, anything in the Xbox ecosystem since May. Yeah, Microsoft, like, you guys really, really just nuked everything today and ruined it. And, yeah, like, I'll remember the brand for how I liked it, for how much I loved it, and especially in the 360 era. As you guys know, I have a massive Xbox 360 collection. I love that system. I still, even with all this bullshit set aside, I would still argue and say, like, outside of the Super Nintendo, the 360 is my favorite console generation and my favorite console. I think so many good things happened during that console generation for gaming. Unfortunately, we haven't progressed past that. So, and this company clearly doesn't want to make video games anymore. So, yeah, I'm at a complete loss for words at this point. I think I've ranted about it long enough. Let me know in the comments below, what are you doing about Game Pass? How much do you give a fuck about this? Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Go listen to the podcast. You can get that podcast on all of the audio streaming services. It's Podcast 572. Also, it's available on this YouTube channel. I always put a video version out when we record it, and then I try to clip certain segments out and make smaller clips of it and put it on the channel. Yeah, otherwise, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Have a great day.